music, Sunday service, every hour. For 30 minutes, we walked the dusty streets of Tijuana, praying aloud in English, loud enough for heaven to hear, yet soft enough to make wary eyes follow us with suspicion. Our words fell like seeds scattered across dry earth, uncertain if any would take root. Then, as if summoned, a man appeared, clean-cut, mid-30s, unnervingly composed. In flawless English, he asked, "Do you want a translator?" We froze. How long had he been watching? Had he trailed us through the crowd unseen? There was something about him, something placed, intentional, not incidental. We nodded, and in that moment, the wall between worlds collapsed. Language gave way to understanding, and suddenly the streets turned sacred. As Juan translated, hearts began to open, people gathered, curious, cautious, drawn. We offered no sermons, no agenda, only presence. But God came like wind, unseen at first, then undeniable. Tears fell, hands lifted, faces softened. Some wept, some trembled. Others stood, as if recalling a long-forgotten song of the soul. Then Juan turned to us, eyes lit with urgency. "There's a church," he said, "mine. It's 30 minutes deeper into the city. Will you come?" We hesitated, unspoken concern lingering. We didn't know him, or where we were going. But we said yes. We climbed into a battered 1,980 yellow taxi. Its upholstery split and springs rusted like thorns from a forgotten war. The shocks were dead, each pothole struck with the violence of memory. Outside the cracked windows, the city blurred, smoke curling through alleys, barefoot children weaving past walls tattooed with gang signs. And I felt it again, the feeling I knew from Iraq, exposure, a mission without armor, combat without a weapon. When we arrived, a giant of a man embraced Juan like kin returning from exile. This was the pastor. And before we could step fully from the car, we saw them, men, dozens of them, faces carved by sun and sorrow. They circled the vehicle in silence, not with menace, but presence. Suspicion, hunger, and hollow disbelief etched their eyes. And then it began. One by one we prayed. One by one they unraveled. Hardened men wept like children. Others collapsed under the weight of mercy. Some knelt as if crushed by the gravity of grace. Others laughed, undone by joy they had forgotten was possible. It was raw, messy, holy. The chaos of the streets had followed us there, but something greater had arrived too. God was in the middle of Tijuana, and he was speaking in every tongue. Music, Sunday service choir, how excellent is thy name. But something felt off. As we arrived, I began scanning the faces, the atmosphere. Then it struck me, there were no women, no children, just men, hardened, hollow-eyed, weathered by pain you couldn't see but could feel, suspended in the air like fog. I leaned toward Juan and whispered, "What kind of church is this?" He paused, eyes lowering as if ashamed to speak it aloud. "It's not a regular church," he said quietly. "It's a drug rehabilitation center, one of the worst in Mexico. Every man here has lost his family." The words struck like a memory I hadn't asked for. I looked again, not at strangers, but reflections. I too had drowned in addiction. I too had watched my family slip like sand through trembling hands. Their pain mirrored my own, and suddenly I realized I wasn't visiting, I was home. I asked to see their sanctuary, and they led me to a tent, military green, torn, its canvas weather-beaten as if it had survived a war. Maybe it had. Sunlight streaked through the holes like divine blades, and the moment I crossed the threshold, I felt it, the shift. God was there. It wasn't the decor. It was the presence. The pastor greeted us with eyes worn by battle but burning with holy fire. He spoke not as one broken, but as one refined, scorched clean by suffering. His love for these men was not human. It had passed through fire. And yet, my eyes kept drifting toward a dusty field beside the tent. A crude soccer pitch, chalk lines fading, nets slouched on rusted posts. Something about it pulled at me. "What's that field for?" I asked. The pastor glanced toward it, his voice falling to a hush. "Years ago, someone came and prophesied. They said one day a man would come and help us build a church like those in America." My stomach clenched. A chill surged down my spine. The words felt like prophecy finding its mark. I didn't want to build a church. I didn't even believe I could. I had come to deliver a prayer, not lay bricks. But God had other plans. In that moment, the field, the prophecy, the tent, they converged into a clarity I could not outrun. I would help build that church. And I did. For the rest of 2014, I poured my strength and resources into Tijuana, laying both stone and spirit as we built the foundation of what was promised. And with every nail, every beam, something in me was also being rebuilt. God wasn't just restoring walls, He was restoring me. My wife returned. Our fractured marriage began to heal. And as 2015 unfolded, I found myself delivering bread and pastries to orphanages across Tijuana. Where once I was a man marked by ruin, I had become a bearer of daily bread to the forgotten.